Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Where I Went Wrong. And in this edition of Where I Went Wrong, I'll be doing Where I Went Wrong, UFC 287, Pereira versus Adesanya 2, and how did I do this card? I went 6-6, 500. Terrible. Terrible. But yeah, terrible card for me. But let's focus on the 6Ls. I mean, it's a terrible card, so yeah, it's like you focus on half the card because half of them went wrong. But yeah, terrible card. So what was the first L? The first L was Amarim versus Sam Hughes, or Sam Hughes versus Amarim. I think the lesson here is pretty clear. As I said in the tape, like it's pretty what I said was like Amarim, like she seemed to have all the intangibles, but when you look at her resume in MMA, it's very green. There's nothing there. She fought literally lay down bums. That's what she fought. She literally give me the easiest fighters you could give me, bums. Maybe because other people were ducking her, maybe this, maybe that, but she fought literally people that, like, I think one person who had like a positive record. She had like 4 wins or something. And she went in with Sam Hughes, who has fought tougher competition, has fought relevant competition. Hasn't always beat that competition, but she's a fighter competition. She has shown the ability to go 15 minutes and go hard. She's a tough nose fighter, and she has done that. And what did she do? Emran went out there looking phenomenal for 1 round, gave it her all in that 1 round, and then had nothing left. Where Sam Hughes had that experience actually going beyond 1 round, going there with tough fighters, and having had to have fights, like I feel like a lot of her fights have been cases where she won, like her opponents coming out strong, but she's able to outlast them to that first round and then come back and dominate, maybe even finish them in later rounds. And she was able to come back and dominate Amarin. This is like a green fighter. Unless they're like, again, maybe I definitely gotta do a better job of gauging these fighters as far as, is this entry level fighter coming in actually worth leaning to, or should I lean to the vet? I gotta do a better job of doing that. Can I do it? I gotta do a better job of doing that. That's the answer to that one. So yeah, with that one, that's the answer to that one. Yeah, go for Amarin. Like, unless they give her somebody that got no BJJ defense, or she really makes some improvements, which she definitely can. They definitely could give her some lower ranked women, maybe some women who aren't as tough as Sam Hughes, don't have the cardio of Sam Hughes, and then give her some time to develop. She could definitely be a problem. She got the skills, but lacks the experience, and got to round her game out. But right now, not good. Hughes, like, good win for her. I think she still has a lot of upsets left in her. But I think the issue with her is that she elevate. Now I think it's gonna be hard for her to elevate. I don't really see her elevate. I kind of see her being that fighter that can upset these entry level fighters, maybe upset these one dimensional fighters, maybe upset these 1 round fighters who are good for 1 round. Like, she's good for that, but still not really saying, oh, that's enough for me to see that she can actually really rise to the ring. I still ain't seen that yet. I haven't seen that next level from her still yet. I've seen the toughness in the heart, but not that next level skill or talent. But yeah. Next one I think was what's his name? So what's his name? Garcia? Yeah, Steve Garcia, I believe, versus Shaylee and Nuanabek. Yeah, with this one right here, I guess I just keep picking against Garcia. I just don't really like his style. I don't like his lack of defense. I was like, watching the guy kind of irritates me, to be honest. And like, you gonna have that. You could be like, well, I'm just a fan of MMA, but I feel like you gonna have styles that just irritate you. And I feel like Steve Garcia's style, lack of defense, his overall aura just irritates me. But I'll be picking against him. I feel like Shaylee Nuanabek was doing what he needed to do early, but ultimately he showed his limitedness in the striking. Like, he had some good, like, straight little basic, the basic fundamentals, like some very basic fundamentals, like your first couple stuff you learn on, I guess, day one type stuff. Like, he had okay stuff there, but hooks sloppy, everything else sloppy. His composure was pretty sloppy at times, but like I said, just throwing those little straight punches down the middle early and taking advantage of the fact that Garcia just, like I said, just keep his hand on his right there to be hit a lot of times throughout the fight. Um, he was able to find that pretty early. He hurt him in the first round. He got the first drop. But Garcia overall was the more comfortable striker. I feel like I said, Nuanabek has a good impressive physique. He's solid in the very basics. The very basic. Not like, oh my gosh, he got super solid fundamental boxing. Now he has the very basic practice stuff, like the 1-2, like the very basic, and not even at like some super high level. It looked okay. Like, he got good physique, got some good muscles. He could be a pretty explosive. And Garcia got a soft chin. He don't move his head. He was able to drop him. But when Garcia started to flow more with some combinations, Randy B really had no answer to it. Like he just kind of was baffled out there. Garcia was just more comfortable feet. Like his defense still trash, but chin still trash. Overall, not the greatest fighter, but he would let his hands go more. He was the more comfortable fighter on his feet. Again, defensively negligent, defense non-existent. But he mixed up the leg kicks, mixed up the body kicks, mixed the kicks to the body, mixed the hands to the body. He mixed up well and like showed that obviously his striking, he has more tools in the arsenal. And Nurmagomedov was very limited in his arsenal. And also I feel you say Steve Garcia has fought better competition. Both the guys have fought a lot of fights because Nurmagomedov has fought like 90 fights and he only like 28, but nonetheless, um, get him out. He was able to get out of that first round and start to flow. And I think that's going to be something to look for Garcia. Is it a fight he can flow in? Is he the more technical striker? Does he have more tools, more arsenal? Or can this guy have more well-rounded striking? Maybe simpler, but can he take advantage of exploit that big hole in Garcia's game, which is his non-existent striking defense, stuff his takedowns? Maybe I'll grab him. Maybe look for those things if I'm going to pick against Garcia, or look if I'm looking towards Garcia. Yes, this guy might be able to do. Yes, Garcia has no striking defense and he kind of chinny, but I feel he can make it out of the first round with this guy, and I feel like he can outwork him. I feel like he can out tough him and outvalue him. Maybe tap him out, maybe put him out. But yeah, it's definitely a good look for Steve Garcia though, because he went out there, faced adversity, came back and showed pretty good technique offensively. Again, I'm not saying still not gonna give him no praise for his defense, but offensively showed some good combinations to the body. Was able to like say throw a kick to the body, then go switch it with like a hook to the body. That's pretty nice. That's a nice offensive from him. But defensively, I ain't gonna give this man no props. But I'm going for Steve Garcia. Still ain't sold on him at all. Probably never will be. But I definitely could see different angles look and consider him, and if I'm going to lean to him in the future, probably not. But yeah, Shaylan Nurmagomedov, I think he'll do well against other grapplers. Maybe some guys that don't really have the best striking. He could like be the controller, whether the fight standing or on the ground. Because with his short, like lower center of gravity, compact build, and he got a pretty decent wrestle and pretty explosive, well, pretty strong as well. Because stuff like these guys takedowns. Then, like I said, don't got a whole lot of arsenal there, but he got a lot of power and he's pretty okay with what he got. So maybe he can knock out some wrestlers, maybe just stuff the takedowns or stuff some jiu-jitsu guys. But guys that could get him out of the first round and got more around the skill sets and more developed games, I think he's gonna have issues with them. So yeah, things could be considered for both guys. So that's the second L. Then the third L, and I think another good thing I'm gonna say in the middle of this video and the end of this video is that I didn't go super high confident with none of these picks because like I knew this was a bit shaky. I obviously didn't expect it to come out this shaky, but yeah, a lot of these picks were shaky. Just knowing them. I'm not even gonna mention the picks that I did happen to win that probably really should have been L. I mentioned they were shaky, like Luke Godinez versus. I said I'm not gonna mention that. I mentioned the Godinez versus Calvillo fight. I knew how close that fight could be, and really, Calvillo had a good case to win. But yeah. Well, that's why I said that's why I went low confidence there. But yeah, it's like two picks down. Then the next one was like third L was Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis, or Chris Curtis versus Kelvin Gastelum, however you want to say it, or however you want to place it. But here the Sharps were right on it. The Sharks, whatever they called, the Sharps were right on this one. And it's the same thing I've been saying about. I've been saying about Chris Curtis this whole time myself. But this time I decided to go against my best judgment. No insult to Chris Curtis or anything like that, not at all. But every time I picked him to lose, it's been like he gonna get output. But this was the right time to actually say that because yes, Chris Curtis gonna get output like in those other fights, but he could touch those guys' chins and knock them out. Like I said, he might not throw a whole lot of shots, but he'll find that chin, find that moment, land that clean counter or something, or find the opening, he'll knock them out. But those guys were like maybe not the best are strikers or more so wrestlers trying to strike like what Phil Halls and Joaquin Buckley. But Kelvin Gastelum, he has struck with some of the best guys in the game. Struck with Israel Adesanya. And Kelvin Gastelum has a notable chin. So Kelvin Gastelum going to outthrow you and he got a chin. So Kelvin Gastelum was a clear pick there. And everyone who leaned him was a smart to lean him. Don't get too caught up on the fact that, Chris Curtis has been winning even when that's been the case to pick against him. But the guys that he beat didn't have notable chins or weren't really notable strikers. Buckley's explosive all, but he's not really a striker. He strikes a lot, but he really his background is wrestling. I mean, Gaston's background is wrestling too, but he has evolved as a more, a truer, respectable striker than those guys. Is all I'm trying to say. Both of guys definitely had work on their striking, but still, I think the biggest thing is that they don't have chins or toughness like Gaslam. So if you're not gonna knock Gaslam out, you're not gonna put up volume. The clear lean is Gaslam. But I guess the thing is that kind of makes it kind of blurry is the fact that Gaslam had not won in a lot of years. Still was fighting tough competition, but still had to win. And momentum is a big thing, so that could easily lead you to it. But sometimes at the end of the day, it all come down to styles, and the style lined up for Gaslam just to been taking shots and outwork him. That's what he did, and he won. So going Chris Curtis, as far as Chris Curtis' future, like you gotta see if he can't get a knockout, he's not going over this guy that's just trying to go for takedowns, and he could use his UFC takedown defense. I know his takedown defense was always great. I don't think it was, but since he's been in UFC, I think it's like 100%. So he can use that his UFC stats of 100% takedown defense. It may go in there with these Rodolfo Vieiras or something, or people that just looking to take him down, and he can just stuff the takedowns and maybe beat those guys to a decision, or go in there with these would be strikers who aren't really strikers and kind of chinny and don't got the cardio or don't really have the experience on the feet like him. He can knock them out, but somebody that's going to be able to take his shots and outwork him, or just pile up combinations on him and not be hit, you got to lean against him. It's not like he's going to go out there and make some takedowns. He's going to strike with everybody. I can't really see any fighter that's he necessarily going to want to wrestle, or he going to have the success he needs to have. He's going to wrestle them. So this guy just add more to that, so I could pick better. And I think both of these guys will have fights in the UFC more, and I could better judge them when they have that one. But as of right now, that's an L, and that's my third L on the card. Now my fourth L on the card. Let's see what's the fourth L. Yeah, fourth L was it Christian Rodriguez versus Raul Rosas Jr. or Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. And with this one, just put in I didn't go like I mean this was one of my higher confident picks as far as like again a bunch of no confident picks or low confident picks or average confidence and low confident picks. But among the average and low confident picks, this was like an average confident pick. So it was one of the higher confident picks on the card that I was super confident in. But I lean Raul Rosas Jr. And yeah, I just feel I thought he was he's the younger guy. I thought he would be a bigger, more physical guy, which he kind of still was. But that youth definitely showed it here. Chris Rodriguez has been another young talented fighter who, like I said, got some more years on his belt, and he has more experience in UFC. He has fought better competition in UFC, and also has setbacks in his career. He was able to make better adjustments out there. I feel like Raul Rosa Jr. looked very youthful out there. He looked very young. Still a very talented kid. Still got a bright future ahead of him as long as he just keeps improving from his losses, improving from his wins, just improving from training camps, and like just developing as a fighter and a mixed martial artist. But yeah, Chris Rodriguez made good adjustments, and I feel like Raul Rosas Jr. early on just really exhausted himself, like going for the takedowns and trying to go for that rear naked choke and like going for that crank and stuff. It is exhausted off in that first round. Then in the second round, he made like a poor grappling mistake that caused him like got a little bit overzealous and ended up on bottom. I think from that point that was the clear shift, and from that point Chris Rodriguez just took over in the third round. He just dominated. He just dominated him the whole third round. But I think a big issue with Robert Jr. Him and I mean, it's really not even grappling. I just think the fact that he's not all that rounded out. I feel like on the feet he wasn't very confident on the feet, so he wasn't setting up his takedowns with strikes, and he was just really just forcing entries. Like I said, early on in the first round, he had great success with that, but over time that is became less successful. Like you getting tired, you getting predictable as well. And Chris Rodriguez exploited it. And again, that comes with experience. That comes with experience, and that comes with age, etc., etc. Again, Rodriguez has been around longer and has setbacks. He's not this undefeated fighter. He's not this 18-year-old. He's still a young fighter, very young, 18. I mean, at 25, but he has had more experience than Robert Ross Jr. So I guess where I went wrong with this one is, yeah, this kind of going with the fighter based off youth, but I know Rodriguez could be a good test for him. And he could definitely pull off an upset or beat him. But he showed it here. And I think I was leaning more on Raul Rosas Jr. as far as positional control. I thought Rosas would be the one more controlling, even though he was early. But I thought throughout the fight, I thought Chris Rodriguez would be the one attempting more crazy submissions and stuff, or jumping on submissions, or being more active with the offense, which will lead to him to get on bottom or end up on bottom. And I thought Raul Rosas Jr. was exploit that. But I just feel like in this fight he came out there just trying to force a lot of action instead of really setting up or timing it or taking advantage of patterns or anything like that. He just was trying to force his offense. Like he just came in overconfident. But nonetheless, the better man won. But as far as Raul Rosas Jr., he could definitely bounce back real quick. Some of these people are like, can he bounce back? Raul Rosas Jr. could definitely bounce back. Literally, his next fight look great. But I think he needs to work on his striking. And when you start working on your striking and feel a little more comfortable there, this is MMA. You can start to set up your grappling more and also pacing. But yeah, I feel like these adjustments he could quickly make. Obviously, not go. I want to say he gonna fight people along the same level. Maybe take a little step down. And yeah, maybe even some people on his level he could beat. To be honest, I'm just not saying he necessarily need to take a big step down, but and he was doing pretty well. I felt even a couple little small different adjustments in this fight, he could have won this one. But unless he lost and lost clearly, lost bad in that third round, especially. But yeah, that's all I can really say with that one. Rodriguez is a good talent as well, and I can definitely see me leaning him in his next fight, depending on who he fights. But very high likely chance I lean to him in his next fight. Very high likely chance I leave to Raul Rosas Jr. in his next fight, and also Raul Rosas Jr. in his next fight probably will have better odds now that people kind of brought down. Matter of fact, he probably have some real good odds because people are like, he got fraud checked. The guy's only 18. The kid's only 18, so I'm expecting a good bounce back from him in his next fight. So y'all want to just go in and just act like this guy's a scrub? Good for me. But I think both of these guys are going to have good value in the next fight, especially probably Raul Rosas Jr. And I think he'll get a good matchup too. But yeah, that's still at the fourth L. Fifth L was Adrian Yanez versus Rob Font. And this one kind of crazy. This is really kind of one of the crazy one. Like Rob Font, who does Rob Font really be knocking out? He fought Garber for like 5 rounds, and I don't think he dropped him, I believe, but he definitely ain't knocked him out. But I don't think he dropped him. He come out here, he's coming with power. Like he took that loss personally to Marlon Vera. He's like, I threw 5,000 punches against this man. He just hit me with a couple sweet chin musics and changed the course of the fight every single round. Next time I touch a guy like that, I'm gonna make those count. I'm gonna make those shots count. If I'm gonna throw 1,000 punches. Every one of those 1,000 punches is gonna count. Like he came in with mean intentions. I guess he knew the pressure was on him because he, like I said, he getting up there in age, coming off a bad loss, took a lot of damage, and he did similar to what his friend did. Calvin Cater did, his friend and training partner did. After getting picked apart by Max Holloway, where he took like a year off. Well, I feel like Rob Font returned real quick, but Calvin Cater took a whole year off, came back and put on a clinic against Giga Chikadze. Rob Font took a pretty quick turnaround, probably like a couple months, 4 maybe 5 months, but still that's very quick considering all the damage he took. So considering all the damage he took, that was a real quick turnaround. And he comes in there and puts on a statement performance. So great win by Rob Font. I just feel like this. I can't really say this is a bad pick. Like you want to say like where you went wrong, but you don't want to start talking stupid. Like every single thing there's a clear indicator went wrong. Sometimes the pick just don't fall through. It could be a decent pick, but don't fall through. I feel like some of the picks that I don't know. Yeah, sometimes you have bad picks that actually happen and play out well. Sometimes you have picks that seem really decent that fall out. You got a guy coming off a lot of damage, but again, that was saying what maybe I could look at the connection between him and Cater. Cater was able to do it. He was able to do it. So, or should be able to do it. But yeah, Yanez was like I said, I saw the weaknesses in Yanez, especially early. So I was expecting to make the first round be dicey, but he wasn't really able to make it out of that. So like dicey first round, but eventually be able to settle down. I think he was trying to set up that overhand. I mean, he was trying to set it, but um um Font came back with that hook too after like he did that hook, like snuck in there, caught him that hook, dropped him. So he saw that overhand coming, rolled it back, caught him with a hook, dropped him, and finished him. But yeah, could have settled down a little more, but that experience was definitely a big factor. And it's not like I guess another big clear thing as far as if you were to go like, oh, let's just bet the house on Yanez because Yanez like this is not in my case because I didn't go like crazy with Yanez at all. But it's like in the case of you somebody who maybe consider like Giannis. The clearest thing about this one is that it's not like Giannis has this big advantage over him. This is the biggest step up in competition by far for Giannis. We see him struggle with Davy Grant. We seen him struggle with Randy Koss of all people. So we see him struggling with much lesser competition. Now he get a big step up, and I guess the biggest thing to lean to him is momentum. He's this young kid, young fighter, on the rise, everything going his way for the most part. But it's not like he's going to grapple Rob Font like he's this amazing grappler that's going to have a grapple advantage over Rob Font. If anything, Rob Font has a grapple advantage over him. So it's really kind of come down to boxing. And boxing skills, Rob Font's probably better. I mean, he is better. He showed to be better, obviously, now. But you kind of lean into, Rob Font gets hurt, which is a pretty good thing to say because Rob Font does get stung. Yanez does make good adjustments in the fight when he's in there. But Rob Font did a good job to stay on top of him and get him out of there early. I'm not saying that would, if he didn't get him out early, he would win in the win, but it definitely leaves more option for him to get hurt. But yeah, Rob Font looked good tonight. I can't say I like, oh my gosh, I made such a glaring error here. It's not one of those picks, and yeah, but yeah, good win for Font. I don't know how he's gonna do his next fight because we're gonna compare his trajectory with his friend Cater, which is not really the best indicator of anything, but we just making it because it kind of was relevant here. I don't know how he's gonna fare. I just feel like he's gonna put himself in position to fight another prospect. He just kind of proved today that one prospect or one contender is not really there yet, and they still need some time to develop. But you probably get matched with another contender or another top ranked fighter, and maybe they just beat him again or something. I mean, like say, yeah, Rafa, you're good, but you just stuck around, kind of at this point now where you're this high tier gatekeeper. And it's kind of now you're going to get shown in your next fight that you're still a gatekeeper or that you are a gatekeeper. But no, again, Rafa looked good, looked amazing. But I'm still not sure about him. Obviously, I don't feel like he'll become a champion in this weight class. But hey, the sky's the limit. As good as he looked, if you can come in there with that motivation and keep that motivation, just keep hungry, keep it developing. And now Rafa with power, or at least for now, or this going to be consistent, maybe some things can change. Maybe this guy can be a title challenger. Maybe this guy could be a title winner. And he definitely made adjustments in his career. Like, just like, Yanez having losses now, and the, what's his name? Roasted Jr. having lost now. Rafa had losses. He just come off a loss coming to this fight. So, make adjustments. And he has made improvements in his career. At one point, he was just trying to get by in the weight class. And he was kind of struggling to pass that barrier. Then he finally passed that barrier and he became a upper echelon fighter. And again, he could probably still make some developments as long as he's hungry and going in there. But yeah, good one for Rob Font. Yeah, I'm just dragging at this point. Now in the main event, we had Alex Pereira versus Adesanya 2, or really 4. And this is yet another pick I can't feel too bad about, to be honest. Like, I would want Adesanya to win. I'm happy he won, and like I said, I'm more happy to have taken an L on this card and have Adesanya win than I would to have Pereira win and have a solid card, like a 9-3 or something, and Pereira win versus a 6-6 or maybe even 4-8 and Adesanya win. That's kind of like where I'm drawing the line at. 4-8, that's about as low as I'll go. I'll be mad anything lower. I mean, I'll be mad with 4-8, but I'll be like, oh, it's okay. Adesanya won. But any lower than that, I'll be like real mad. I'll be like, man, I would Adesanya get knocked underneath the ring. But 4-8, that's the drawing point. But 6-6, that's all right. All right. But nonetheless, yeah, it's hard. Like say, I was just pushed into a corner like this one. Adesanya had already lost his guy 3 times. If you could just include the kickboxing matches, been knocked out 2 of those times. 1 time out cold, and going into a rematch, a quick rematch at that. And Pereira seemingly had his number. It's like it's hard to lean against him. It's not like Adesanya was gonna come here and show some new and improved wrestling that was gonna make a big adjustments. I don't think that was gonna make the biggest of adjustments. Clearly, he had hurt him several times in these fights. Like the first, pretty much every single fight, he had hurt Pereira. Some fights more than others. But yeah, I just feel like and also I was liking more what I was saying from Pereira, but he was showing more what he was doing than Adesanya. He was showing more. Adesanya was kind of like hush hush with his stuff this time. He was showing clips, but it was like mostly like showing hitting the bag. Sparring was like flashed off here, and he clearly made some adjustments. But even in the fight, Pereira was looking good. Very close fight. Probably really leading to Pereira, to be honest. If you're looking at the judges' scorecard, or where it would be, it was like kind of favoring Pereira. Like I said, it only went like 2 rounds, or didn't make 2 rounds. But Adesanya made good adjustments. And I think the biggest thing he did really in this one, well, at least as far as the ending sequence, was that he was able to draw Pereira in and take advantage of the gaps in Pereira's offense and land his own combination that ultimately ended the fight. But yeah, I can't say like, oh my God, this was a bad pick. It's given everything. Pereira is a dog. Pereira being up 3-0, coming off a knockout win, and then historic champions like once losing their belt, immediately rematching with like 3 or 14. A lot of the odds were just leaning to Pereira, and history was leaning to Pereira. Like this is just a guy that has his number. Like Matt Hughes had Dennis Hallman, and Ben Henderson had Pettis and stuff. It just seemed like this guy just going to have his number. But clearly, Adesanya had other plans, and he made those adjustments and showed that he's a different level of a fighter. Like a lot of these fighters are gonna have these issues where they run and they struggle. Well, I mean, he was struggling. He went 0-3. Like, really, do you ever get a chance to go get a fourth chance with some guy? But he got it, and he made the most of it. So, yeah, like he's like this other guy, like yeah, they usually lose 2 times and it be over with. They 0-2 is done. They don't get no third, fourth time, especially not a fourth time. But yeah, he got the opportunity, very rare, and very even more rare to capitalize like he did and got his hand raised. But yeah, pick I can't feel too bad about at all. But I'm happy that Adesanya won. Good on him, and hopefully make some more adjustments in the next fight, and if they rematch. And I want him to win that one. And he can't come here and disrespect the same thing, especially not his sequence. I don't think Pereira gonna fall for the okey doke that many a second time. Make adjustments. I still feel like that same combination is there because it was there in their last fight, in their first MMA fight, and it was there in this fight. But yeah, be able to find an opening in different ways. But hey, he showed that he could find it in different ways. He got his hand raised, and also he was able to finish what he started, as opposed to the second kickboxing fight in the first MMA fight. He was able to finish what he started. So yeah, good win for Adesanya. Went 6-6. Terrible card. Gonna look to do better next card, but I'm gonna say right now that next card looking very wacky. Like it looks very wacky, very odd. So I can't expect it. Like I can't say confidently like this next card I'm gonna bounce back. But hey, I think I could do better. But I don't think it's gonna be a phenomenal card. But maybe the card next week after that one could be better. But all I could do is look into it and try to make the best of what I see. But sketchy looking card. And back to this card, 6-6. Pretty terrible, but again, it's going to try to take the lessons out of these L's and just get better. Like, especially with a lot of these young entry fighters, like you got Robert Rose Jr., 18-year-old, you got Amarim just debuting. And I think some other fighters on this card as well. Yanez, like, he got experience in the UFC, but still a fighter that's still young in his career. Like, you get a lot of these younger, fresher faces, like, going to be harder to pick them. And also, on top of that, you get this guy random variables. It's MMA, and crazy stuff happens all the time. So, yeah, just gotta make the best of these adjustments and try to find the best lessons you can find in each of these L's or wins or losses so that you can capitalize, at least maybe not the next immediate card, but when you see those guys fight again, like those individual fighters from the card, like then you're like, oh yeah, I'm about to lock in on this card. I see a lot of these guys that I saw. I took an L from this, L from that. This person won, but they have won this, following them across the careers. I mean, that definitely, I think all these guys will probably fight again this year, and then I'll be able to capitalize when they do fight again. So, and even outside this video, find even more lessons from these fights. So again, could capitalize when they do fight again, etc., or in particular areas where I've been notably weak in and try to strengthen those. But that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.